Good day, viewers. Welcome back to the Preaching Humanist with David Oliverio, where no God is required and the good life is guided by reason, informed by science, and motivated by that beautiful virtue called love, human love. I want to discuss progressive Christianity again. The first episode I talked about progressive Christianity and how they interpret the Bible the way they want to, even though the Bible says in 2 Peter chapter 1 or 2, that it's not subject to your own personal interpretation. You got to take the Bible literally. And they're holding on by the skin of their teeth to Christianity and to going to church and the Bible. So today, why do progressive Christians continue to believe in God and read the Bible and even go to church? I've got a couple reasons here. In fact, I've got 4 reasons that I've come up with through the many years of my activism, dealing with right-wing Christians, moderate Christians, and progressive liberal Christians. So number one reason why I feel and why I believe, based on my experience, why progressive Christians continue to go to church and venerate the Bible and pray and so forth. Well, number one, I would say it's the fear and uncertainty of death, or otherwise known as immortality. Now, science gives us zero evidence for anything outside of life. Once you die, the end of life is defined by the cessation of brain activity. There's no evidence for anything above and beyond the life here. Once you die, immortality, no evidence. But yet it's hard for many progressive Christians and people in general to understand the concept of death. There is that fear. Many progressive Christians I talk to have a hard time understanding this whole concept of when you die, you die. And my answer is, oh, it's okay. I do not fear death, for I had been dead for billions of years before I had been born and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. It helps me to value my life more, to be more moral and more ethical to my fellow human beings. Number 2 reason why progressive Christians hold on by the skin of their teeth to the Bible and to Christianity. Number 2, the fear of nothingness. I have a long-term client in my personal training business who is a retired physician, a man of science, a doctor, who is extremely far-left Christian, who was born and raised in the same environment I was. Pentecostal, evangelical, fundamentalist Christianity. He is like me. He is like my fellow atheists and secular humanists. About 85 to 90% of things we discuss, we would agree about. But he has a hard time of understanding nothingness. People have a hard time of understanding what it would be like to be before you were born or after death. The concept of nothingness. And the answer I have is much like immortality. What nothingness is simply before you were born, there's nothingness. We don't fear nothingness, and that's okay. So people want to hold on to that concept. There must be something supernatural. I've got to hold on to that because it gives me hope and so forth. Well, you know, when you really understand reality and science, you don't have to have that belief system anymore. The third reason why progressive Christians hold on to the Bible and to Christianity, I believe, and this is a really big one here, is the fear of losing their meaning in life. I've discussed this for years on my show, of how you can find purpose and meaning in your life without any belief in the supernatural. Personally, for me, I have more purpose, more fulfillment, and more meaning in my life now as an atheist than when I was a Christian. There are volumes and volumes of books written by moral philosophers and other secular people that explain how you can find meaning in life. So no, if you let go of Christianity and God belief and jump ship and came on over to atheism and secular humanism, you can find meaning in life. There are many ways to do that. Number 4, why do progressive Christians hold on by the skin of their teeth to Christianity and to the Bible and going to church? And this is probably, of my 4 reasons I've come up with, the most important. It comes just down to being human. The fear of losing community. The fear of losing outreach And I'm going to talk about each one of these individually here in a moment. And of course, the fear of losing philanthropy or the love of humanity. Well, number one, they have a fear of losing community. That's the beautiful thing about what churches offer. And that's something that many of us who are atheists now, who came out of religion and Christianity, miss about church. You take the supernatural out and you're left with the good stuff, which is just being around fellow good people in a community. The thing is, we're in the process of building a community. Not only here at the atheist community of Austin, but there are other secular humanist and atheist groups worldwide that are beginning to take this concept of building communities, just like church in some ways. And that's what I tell my progressive Christian friends. We are very similar to you. We would agree with you on morality and a lot of things. We would agree with you politically in social justice, equality, LGBT rights, women's rights, and so forth. All these other beautiful things, but you take the God belief out and you have secular humanism and atheism. So, letting go of God belief and progressive Christianity, you could come over because we are in the process of building the community. You don't have to be afraid of losing that. Another fear are opportunities of outreach. A lot of my progressive Christian friends have a lot of their activities and outreach from their local church. And that's the good part of church. They have different departments in their church, meals on wheels, feeding homeless people and so forth. But the alternative is we also have that, and we're building that in different secular communities. We have feeding the homeless. We have different philanthropic works that we do as secular people and atheists and so forth. So there shouldn't be any fear there of letting go of progressive Christianity because we offer the same thing. It's just being good. That's all. There are good people everywhere in every group. The love of humanity, you don't have to worry about that. That's what humans do. Most people are good people. I, as a secular humanist and atheist, believe that most people are good. We want to help each other and so forth. It's just innate in us as a social species. Now, the big question is, and some of my atheist friends may disagree with me, and they say, David, why would you fight against progressive Christianity when they agree with us on so many things, when we can collaborate and work together with them for many things in politics and social justice? Of course, we do, but without compromising our stance on my atheism. I will work together with progressive Christians without being an accommodationist. I will not compromise my stance of atheism, but I will work together with them and many other things. So why do I encourage progressive Christians to let it go? Now, this is on the edge, I know, and you're talking to a former Christian evangelist from the fundamentalist Christianity. Now, here's why I encourage. I don't fight them like I do the religious right. I encourage them to come over. Why? And here it is, the answer. The $1 million question and the $2 million answer right here. Unknowingly, they, our progressive Christian friends, are giving the Christian right. Now, hear me closely. They are giving the Christian right, the dangerous ones, okay? Those fringing on everybody else's right, those trying to impede human progress, those that are infiltrating our government with their belief system and try to make this a Christian theocracy. Unknowingly, they, progressive Christians, are giving the Christian right more fuel and power just by being Christians, just by going to church, just by paying their tithes and offerings. You're giving a covering to those on the right. I am not angry about this. I just want to let people know there is an alternative. So what is the alternative? The alternative is, this is what I believe, and I'm going to be very outspoken here and overt. I have nothing to hide. I drive around the city of Austin all day long for my job. I'm an itinerant, self-employed personal trainer. I go to my clients' homes all over the city. I pass churches. Many of them are Baptist and Church of Christ, those on the far right, which we really want to fight against because they're right-wingers, right? But I pass a lot of churches that are progressive and liberal. Now, here's what I think in my mind, and I'm open to change. If somebody can tell me I'm wrong, hey, truth is truth. Here's what I see. I see these large progressive churches doing wonderful things for the community. But We can do the same thing in secular humanist groups and atheist groups. And I would encourage them, if you took this book, which you venerate in so many ways, and you use hermeneutics and interpretation, just like the scriptures I read before about women and gays and all the horrific atrocities and immoralities in this book, zero human rights in this book. If you were to take this book and remove it from your church, what would happen? I think you would be wonderful. I think you'd be good. I think you would continue to do all the good things you do. If you take this big Jesus cross off the building, what would happen? Well, you would remove this cross, which simply speaks of human sacrifice. Pretty gory, pretty archaic, and outdated morality. We don't need it. You would progress and keep doing the good things you do. And another important thing, if you remove this book and you remove the cross, and then you'd get off your knees, have self-respect as a primate. I'm a primate and proud of it. Have some human dignity and respect, and progress on, leaving this behind. That's what I see, and that's what I envision, is building a secular community. We don't need these primitive myths anymore. So that is my message to my progressive Christian friends. I'm not angry, mad at you. I do encourage you to think about this and to remember this book that you hold and continue to venerate. Go back and read it. And you can see that the morality you're using and all the good you do is based on your human morality and secular morality. So thank you so much for watching the Preaching Humanist. Have a wonderful day.